Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grid Live Pre-Race. I'm Joe Sandiego. With me, we have Esha Azim from Racing with Esha. Got a lot to talk about with NASCAR. Supercars had race 1. And a big thank you to our Patreon investors. Colin, the show, Mark, David, Matthew, Robbins, and Gold. She upped her Patreon to more investment per month to the Grid Network, up to $10 per month. Robin, thank you so much for supporting us throughout all the years here in the Grid Network. We really appreciate it. You too can invest in the Grid Network. You'll get stickers sent out to you, and you can do a one-time investment through Buy Me a Coffee, YouTube Super Chat. We have a YouTube membership program available where after 2 months, $10 or more, you'll get the sticker as well. And the simplest way to support us, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and visit our website, gridranking.com. Jackson Lambros, Matthew Bro, writing up some great content from last weekend's races for NASCAR and IndyCar. Esha, last weekend, fun weekend with those two Formula One. This weekend, we know 24 Hours of Le Mans already underway, Supercar, so we really only have NASCAR today to discuss.
That's right, Joe. Let's get started with news that broke Friday at Iowa Speedway. Now, Martin Truex Jr. is retiring from full time competition at the end of this year. We anticipate that he will make some track appearances, and as Joe Gibbs said, he'll be an ambassador. However, he will not be racing full time. So, Joe, what is the reaction to this news that this is Truex's last full time season?
I would say the reaction, a lot of folks were anticipating he was going to be retiring at some point. The big thing was, how soon would that retirement come? Would he announce next year be that retirement and have a sort of a farewell tour? He's been around the NASCAR Cup Series for a long time, over 600 starts. So a lot of folks were thinking if he will have a victory tour or he'll do what drivers have been doing recently, especially in other forms of motorsports, where they just announce midway through the season that this is it, this is their last time, but still going to have some part-time role involved in the future. I would say a lot of folks, the respect level they're seeing Martin Truex Jr. receive, that is something we know. He said he wanted that. When it's time for him to go, he wants to go when he knows he has the respect of just about everybody. He is a heck of a racer. He goes out there, wins races, been so close to another championship. Last year, a lot of folks thought he would get it. The playoffs just did not go his way at all. And unfortunately, he did not get that. And one of the big things I'm thinking of, Isha, when it comes to his retirement, he's been around such a long time, but we got to remember when he first started, he was not winning races. He came over to DEI, a lot going on, didn't get a whole lot of wins. Then he switched over to Michael Waltrip Racing, managed a couple of wins, but then Michael Waltrip Racing cheating scandal that hurt him. It looked like he's going to the 78 Furniture Row Chevrolet team with RCR support. Well, best of luck. This might be the end of the career. That team turned it around. Then next thing you know, they got a deal with Toyota. He gets a championship, and he's been a contender ever since. I think it's just a phenomenal story of where it went from. It looked like his days may be done to a new era of Martin Truex Jr. racing. We're all going to remember that, but he's been around the sport for a long time, a great career, and he'll be truly missed on the track.
Yes, definitely, Joe. And speaking of championship, how do you think are his championship prospects this year?
I think now that he has it out that this is it, this is his last full year, all the pressure, the speculation going around is gone. Is okay, we know this is his last time racing full year. I say he still has a very good shot at going out there, getting some wins to get into playoffs. He got some great tracks coming up, including New Hampshire. He does great there. Pocono, a lot of tracks where I feel he could easily get that win, get himself into playoffs. In the playoffs, now that he's not going to be thinking about trying to work on a new contract, trying to make some deals for the next couple of years or stuff for the sponsors, just go out there, try to win, see how far we go. I think this could unleash that dominant streak of winning races like we've seen in the past from Martin Truex Jr. And I think I would not be surprised if he's in the championship four.
Yes, definitely. And there are rumors swirling around on the potential replacements for Truex. Chase Briscoe has become a candidate to switch from Ford to Gibbs Toyota. Sheldon Creed and Chandler Smith are full time in the Xfinity Series 18 car. So, Joe, I want to ask you, how could this play out with Briscoe in the mix with two drivers in the Xfinity Series?
We've always known when it comes to Joe Gibbs racing, it's always an issue when Toyota racing development. You have talented drivers coming up the driver development program, but then there's that bottleneck because there's in the past Joe Gibbs racing. Now we have 2311. They seem to be a bit secure with their driver lineup of Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. We also now this year added Legacy Motor Club, John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones. I wouldn't say John Hunter Nemechek's on the hot seat, but I don't think his seat is exactly 100% safe for next year. But now that you have Truex out of the picture, you got the potential of Chase Briscoe, who has a race win. I think he's part of the victim when it comes to Stewart Haas Racing, just not having the great equipment. That's why he's not bringing the good results, because we know he could win the Xfinity Series. We know he could win in the Cup Series like he did in Phoenix that year. I just don't think Stewart Haas has been giving him the best resources to go out there and get the win. So he could be a good potential fit for that, especially if he brings some sponsorship funding to the 19. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Bass Pro Shops. They've been involved with Martin Truex just about his entire career, and even the retirement press conference, there was Bass Pro Shop right there supporting him. They're with him. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if Briscoe gets that shot. Sheldon Creed, I feel he's a good driver, but I just don't think he is exactly 100% cup ready yet. Chandler Smith, full time in the 81. I just don't see those two. If anything, Isha, what I think could potentially happen with Chase Briscoe or whoever gets in there, you're going to be a 1 to 2 year driver. If they don't exactly have the great results, that's where a Chandler Smith could come in. We got to remember there's William Sawalich, who's doing ARCA. If he comes to the Xfinity Series and just start winning races, showing he's cup ready, he could be a contender. So really, I think this makes it where if I was Chase Briscoe, the opportunity to drive for Joe Gibbs Racing, top level equipment, Toyota backing, great opportunity. But you can't be mediocre. You have to go out there, get those race wins, because if you have a winless season, in my opinion, in 2025, by 2026, you're going to be on the rumor list of being replaced by a young upcoming driver in Toyota's driver development.
Yes, certainly. This could be very interesting for Chase Briscoe to see how it plays out. Now, qualifying is at the top of the hour today. Practice was yesterday, and we did have some drivers have issues with tires, and that includes Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, and Tyler Reddick. Now, Ty Gibbs did set the second fastest lap behind Noah Gragson, who set the fastest lap. Justin Haley was fourth, Harrison Burton was seventh, and Chase Briscoe was 10th. So, Joe, can any of those four drivers qualify in the top 10 today?
I'm looking at Noah Gragson and what he's been able to do with that 10 card this year. Really phenomenal job. Overall, when it comes to Justin Haley, Harrison Burton, I think they're going to fall mid pack, maybe a little lower because we're going to see the bigger teams. They're going to take their notes and start working their way towards the front. I'll be shocked if Justin Haley qualifies in the top 10. That'll be a great effort. We know that team has an alliance with Roush, Fenway, Keselowski Racing, but I just don't see them being at that level to qualify in the top 10. So overall, the four teams, I think they're still a little bit behind the eight ball when it comes to Toyota, Chevrolet. I'm really excited to see how this race plays out because I think a driver like Noah Gragson, if he could go out there, get a top 10 starting position, the way this race might play out, if he stays in the top 10, he could easily finish in the top 10 because I think it's going to be a little tricky making passes. And if we have a lot of cautions, it's almost going to put everyone in that same strategy situation. You can't exactly be too creative with strategy.
Yeah, now one Ford driver that I am curious about is Joey Logano. He wins at new places like the Clash Gateway, Bristol Dirt, and new pavement at North Wilkesboro. So now that we're at Iowa, do you like the chances of Joey Logano taking the win?
Overall, I would say he has a fair shot at winning at Iowa. When it comes to Ford, it seems to be that if they're going to get a win, they really need to be on top of everything. Just the perfect fast car, like when Brad Keselowski won at Darlington. Really, his only competition was Tyler Reddick, and he got caught up in trouble with another Ford, Chris Buescher, Keselowski's teammate. If the Fords are very fast again in qualifying, then yes, I would say Logano's up there. Logano, really, I know he's a bit lower in the point standings. Well, quite a bit lower than a lot of people anticipated. But really, Sonoma, he was in a good spot with that strategy call. It was just a crash by Chase Briscoe, another Ford driver, ruined his day. If that did not happen, I think Logano would have easily been a contender for the win, considering how the strategy played out last race weekend. So I don't doubt Logano can't go out there and get the win. I'm more questioning, can Ford help Logano get out there and the two to win? Because if they're fast, if they have the best cars, Logano is a legitimate shot at winning. But if not, he's going to be stuck mid pack.
Yes, definitely. And for those who are interested in sports betting, Logano is in 11th, and the favorite is Kyle Larson. Hamlin, Reddick, Bell, and Chastain are the top five favorites. But this track is not exactly like the Iowa of before. The corners have been repaved due to harsh winters. We saw drivers avoid going up high earlier in the day, but by the end of last night's ARCA race, there were two groves. So, Joe, with the repaved corners, could this compromise the race that has a poor qualifying effort?
Yeah, if you have a poor qualifying effort and we have a situation where that second grove is not working out, it's going to be really hard to pass. You're really going to be dependent on pit strategy, but we have multiple caution flags. That's going to neutralize your opportunity to be creative. Unless we have so many, you just pit shortly after another restart and try to get off cycle. But that's where it's going to be really interesting to see how this race plays out because at the end of the day, with this very unique track condition where the pavements, most of the corners, the top groove, they're not touched, but then you have the lower groove, the racing line where it has been repaved. It's going to be causing a lot of teams questions about okay, the grip level. Does that second lane have the grip? We saw tires were a bit of an issue. I'm curious to see could tires continue to be an issue throughout the race. I don't anticipate it. I think the teams are going to get the air pressures right and get going. But if we have a race where it's just really one groove and you're going to have cautions as drivers sort of bump their way towards the front, you have a poor qualifying effort. You're going to most likely be stuck towards the back unless you get lucky. That's why qualifying is going to be so important later today. You want to be in the top 10. You could capitalize if somebody makes a mistake on pit road, keep going up, maybe getting a couple positions here or there. But overall, I think it's going to be a really hard race for overtaking. So you got to qualify well.
Yes, definitely qualifying will be very important for the race. And let's take a look at some quick stats now. So, since we've had nine different winners this year, there are seven spots available in the playoffs. After Iowa, there will be only nine races till the playoffs begin. So, Joe, do you believe Iowa is a track where a winless team could win? Or will the drivers with wins have a better advantage?
I lean towards the drivers that have a win already. They're going to have the advantage. You look at Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, easily they're going to be their lead Chevrolet, lead Toyota, respectively. There's no reason why they're not going to be up towards the front unless they just missed a setup or one of their teammates like Christopher Bell, William Byron, with their crew chiefs, they just find a better setup to qualify up front and then stay up front because dirty air, I think, is going to be a bit of an issue for those drivers. Since they have that win, they could throw a little bit more caution to the win. If we have a race where we're just getting so many caution flags, the big thing, don't be the caution, but try to figure out when there's a good opportunity to make an overtake when it comes to pit road. When it comes to you see a car that might be a little bit on the tight side and moving up towards a higher line, when it's a great opportunity to try to get underneath. Overall, I am favoring drivers that have won this year because when you look at drivers that have not won this year, I feel while Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, they could go out there and get wins. Drivers like Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell, some of the other drivers, they're not exactly at that level to get a win. Kyle Busch, Richard Childress Racing, I don't anticipate much from them. I think they're going to be mid pack, especially if they qualify in the mid pack. You look at the other teams, I just don't see them really being contenders. Maybe if you're lucky, a top 10, depending on how many cars are caught up in crashes or bad luck. But I think a past winner is going to take the win at Iowa.
All right, now the Iowa 350 is tomorrow, and due to the late start, the recap will be on Grid Encore on Monday. The wrap up tomorrow will recap the 24 hours of Le Mans and the Repco Supercars weekend tomorrow. So, Joe, speaking of supercars, how did race one go?
Race one for the Supercar Series was something else. The Darwin Triple Crown, of course, is underway. And we had a surprise pole winner. James Golden took the pole at Darwin. However, he was managing to lead the first few laps, fighting off Brock Feeney. But down on lap 4, Brock Feeney made some contact, entering the hairpin to get around and take the lead. That was very interesting because Golden was wanting a penalty for the contact with Brock Feeney. If you look at the replay, as Brock Feeney made the move to the inside, it's really hard to tell where James Golden was trying to block and push him towards the grass or take the racing line, and the two made contact with Brock Feeney, putting the left front wheel onto the grass. At the end, race control said no penalty. Brock Feeney went on to take the win. Mark Winterbottom got around James Golden during that contact, so he's managed to stay in second place. And Will Brown later on in the race got around James Golden to take third place. So James Golden, good effort from pole to fourth. I know it's disappointing. Anytime you're on the pole, you want to go out there to get the win because essentially that's saying that you went from the front to a little bit backwards. Not a good feeling, especially with that contact. I could see with that replay, it was very borderline. It was hard to tell whether or not it was something worthy of penalty or not. My opinion, it looked like it was just hard racing. You really be, I think, making a questionable call if you were to make a penalty for Brock Feeney. And of course, the point stands, Will Brown continues to lead 150 points maximum earned with just about every position earning some points. So really, Will Brown's going to be leaving this weekend with the points lead. And I got to give a shout out, Esha, to Chaz Mostert, up 17 positions from where he started to his top 10 finish. Just a great effort for him being that lead Ford driver. Ford, just like in NASCAR, they're not exactly having that great of a season in the Repco Supercar Series with the Mustang. Race 2 for the Triple Crown, that's going to be later today or tomorrow, depending on which time zone you're at. We will recap the Supercar Series and, of course, with the Supercar Series, as we're recapping them tomorrow, the 24 hours of Le Mans, that is currently underway as well, too. So we encourage everyone to be sure to tune in so that way you don't miss our recap tomorrow on Grid Live Wrap Up. With that said, though, we're not done yet. We still have Pick a Winner, and of course, Pick a Winner is really interesting, Isha. Nobody got Brock Feeney as the winner. So nobody's going to get the 10 bonus points for the weekend. NASCAR Cup Series, Iowa Corn 350. I know you've been so close at getting the NASCAR Pick a Winner. Denny Hamlin, second place, had an issue. All sorts of bad luck, but you're so close to it. Who are you going for this weekend's race in Iowa?
For Iowa, I'm going to go with the favorite, Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson's a hard person to beat. I'm thinking I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin, the Toyota driver, see if he could get it done. It's been close. It's a matter of can he get the job done tomorrow evening. Supercar Series, Race 2. Who are you looking at?
I'm going to go with Brock Feeney.
I think I might do the same. Will Brown did not impress me in Race 1, so I think Brock Feeney is looking at a sweep. He'll love to do that and close the gap. on his teammate, Will Brown, who is leading the championship. With that said, we're all out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in to what turned out to be a rather quick episode of Grid Life Pre-Race. Of course, everyone's watching Le Mans 24 hours. Encourage everyone, hit the bell icon, subscribe so you don't miss any of our programs, including the Grid Life wrap-up, where we recap Le Mans 24 hours, the entire Repco Supercar Series weekend, and then Grid Encore on Monday. They're going to recap the NASCAR Cup Series race, as well as all the action from the Arkham and NAR Series. A great race at Iowa last night. Xfinity Series, they're about ready to get underway today at Iowa. And overall, good weekend of racing. And next weekend, it's going to be full gear. Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, we're going to all be back. For Esha, I'm Joe. Thank you for watching today's program. We'll see you next time and enjoy the races.